Ed O'Bannon has battled the NCAA on the definitions of amateurism and how the NCAA has monetized and profited off the backs of student athletes. He's written a new book called Court Justice, the inside story of my battle against the NCAA. Ed O'Bannon was a star on the UCLA Bruins in the mid-'90s, including winning the national championship of the Final Four with UCLA back in 1995. And he joins us here on the show this morning. Ed, good morning.
Good morning, good morning, good morning.
As always, man, appreciate you dropping some time for us. And I want to ask you about this report because the attorney for Tony Bland, one of the assistant coaches implicated in this, Jeffrey Einhorn, says these people, like his client Tony Bland, part of a situation that's much bigger than them. This is what NCAA basketball is, and it's been that way for a long time. I can't say with a straight face these people, like Bland, are outliers. Do you believe Tony Bland's attorney?
Do I believe him?
Yeah.
Wow. Do I believe that they have been this way for a long time?
Yeah.
Yeah, the NCAA has been this way for a long time. Unfortunately, they seem to be unwilling to change their rules. And that's kind of, I think, that I've always thought that was the biggest thing, is they seem to be stuck in the past and will not, adjust their rules along with the game. And that's unfortunate. And I think because of that, this kid in Louisville, he won't, he's subject to, or at least the school is subject to, investigation by the FBI. So I think this is all a result of the rules not changing, ultimately, I guess is what I'm saying. It's got to change. That way these kids won't jump out and look for money.
And that money won't be behind the scenes, I guess, the transaction that happens when it comes to recruiting. So basically, his attorney is saying the NCAA basketball, this powerful operation, is centered around money changing hands behind the scenes. And it's been that way for a long time. And it happens everywhere, that these aren't outliers. So do you believe that the NCAA, this type of quote-unquote corruption and paying for players, is just what happens, and it has happened for a long time?
Yeah, I think so. Yeah, I think that's what it has happened for a long time. It is what happens. It doesn't happen to everybody, and it doesn't happen with all five-star recruits. Some five stars don't take that role, but some do, and it has happened absolutely for a long time. It's a part of the game, absolutely.
Were you offered money when you were being recruited?
I'm sorry?
Were you offered money when you were being recruited?
I don't think so. At least I don't know. Ultimately, you'd have to. Me personally, I wasn't offered any money. I don't know if my parents or anyone else was. I don't think so. But I can't speak for anyone but myself. What I will say is, I'm sure. You know what? I don't know. That's a great question. One that I never really even had with my parents. It's good. I don't know.
So this is amazing, Ed. You've written a book about your battle against the NCAA. I think you've done amazing work in trying to expose the hypocrisy of the NCAA. I'm with you every step of the way on this. But you're telling me 22 years later, you don't know if your parents were potentially offered money when you were being recruited?
Yeah, that's exactly what I'm saying. It's one that I didn't ask. I think because the decision that I made in the school that I went to, and I was going to go to UNLV initially. That particular school was my choice. It's where I wanted to go. And then because they were going to go on probation, UCLA is where I wanted to go. So the decision was mine. It was strictly based, and it had nothing to do with money. So I understand that players do get offered, and probably their handlers and everybody else gets offered. But me, mine was strictly because those were the schools that I wanted to go to, UNLV and then eventually UCLA.
Ed O'Bannon is our guest here on the show. He's got a new book called Court Justice, the inside story of his battle against the NCAA. So when you say rules need to change, that the NCAA is resistant to change, what's the single biggest way that the NCAA needs to change to avoid all of this crazy FBI probes, violations, and corruption?
Let the players, let the athletes control their own brand. Everyone wants or everyone talks about pay for play. I don't know that it's that simple as far as just money being exchanged from school to athlete or program to athlete. I think athletes should be able to control their brand and be able to get endorsement deals. A hamburger place or a car dealership or whatever, yogurt. Whoever wants to endorse the athletes, I think they should have their the freedom to do it because it is their likeness that they live with. It's theirs. It's not the NC2A's, and it's not EA. It's not whoever. It's the athlete. So they should be able to control it and benefit off of that, profit off of that.
So whenever,
that, to me, first and foremost, is the biggest thing.
Whenever I howl about this, about how the NCAA is profiteering off student athletes and they're making them work longer hours because they're playing more games, they're extending the season, there's deeper tournaments, the NCAA football is now playing more games with a playoff. Inevitably, I get students know what they sign up for, and that's I would love to have a free education. That's the value of a scholarship. When you hear that argument, hey, it's the value of a scholarship, what's your retort?
That's fine. That's great. The scholarship is greatly appreciated, but there's a ceiling on that scholarship. I mean, look, we live in a capitalistic society, and a scholarship is great. Again, appreciated. But if someone wants to sponsor me as an athlete while in school, it's against the law for them to use my likeness and make and profit off of it. Therefore, I just the scholarship thing is great. It just kind of reminds me, that argument to me reminds me of, it's one of those things where, here, take these few dollars, shut up and work hard. And I just want to see you. I don't want to hear you. Just take this, do your job and be out of my face. That's what that sounds like to me. As opposed to, I'm worth a lot more than what the scholarship provides. And being on scholarship, athletic scholarship, I'm only allowed a certain time to do schoolwork anyway. So, hey, what I'm interested in is offered at 8:00 at night or 6:00 in the evening. A communications class, but I can't take it because I'm on scholarship and I'm doing this schoolwork. I have a game at 7:00. So there, I guess what I'm saying is there are guidelines to being on scholarship. And if you weren't on scholarship, you'd be able to make all the money you want. And so I think there's a happy medium there. Ultimately, you can be on scholarship, just raise the ceiling. Take it off, for that matter, because there's billions of dollars being made, and these athletes need. Or should they deserve more than what they get? That's just the reality of it. It sounds unattractive, I guess, to someone who isn't on scholarship, but that's just the reality. the game has changed. Back when these rules were set, there wasn't billions of dollars made. So it was, it was okay to just be on scholarship. It was fun. It was great. But now everyone's making money except for the athletes. And I just think there's something fundamentally wrong with that.
Ed O'Bannon is our guest here on the DA show this morning. When it comes to this FBI recruiting scandal, it comes from, reportedly, Adidas and other sneaker companies funneling money through the families of recruits. That basically these high-profile sneaker companies, Nike, Reebok, Adidas, and others, are the ones infiltrating and funneling all this money through the system. Do you feel like the sneaker companies have too much control over the college basketball system?
I don't know. That I hadn't really thought about. I mean, I guess. Look, if they I don't know. I couldn't get into. I don't know where their control ultimately, how far it extends. I don't know. That one I couldn't quite answer. It's a great question, and I'd have to kind of research that one, but I don't know. I don't know.
Ed O'Bannon won a national championship, of course, with UCLA back in 1995, their last national championship. He has challenged the NCAA at every step, and rightfully so, about the profiteering of the NCAA on the backs of student athletes. He's got a new book out called Court Justice, the inside story of my battle against the NCAA. Check it out. He's written it with Michael McKenna, who's a very, very good author and a former guest of this show as well. Ed, man, appreciate the time this morning. Good luck with the book.
All right, no problem. Thank you for having me.
You got it.